Good evening. A few days ago, we talked about the four states of consciousness, right? And uh, we want to move through the state of consciousness called self-consciousness, right? Self-conscious. So we go from the two lower states are Nindra and Swapna. So now we come to the third state of consciousness, and we start moving up. This is self-consciousness. Jagruti. Now we are going to divide this whole journey of self-consciousness into 7 parts. 7 parts, right? And we're going to cover those 7 parts and try to give a description of what is the scenery in each of these parts of consciousness, right? So it's a kind of a map. It's a kind of a map of our journey in self-consciousness. So we'll call this also our being, right? At the lower level, we will say is the ego. And at the higher level is real I. Real I. They are both part of one stick, right? So you may have previously heard of this term, that 7 steps to awakening, 7 steps to samadhi, or whatever, right? So the lowest ego, the lowest level, we will call the commanding ego or the dominating ego. This is our lowest state when we start our journey. Tavriyaji calls this state as Nadir, the lowest, Nadir. So here, what is happening, the transformation is happening in the soul, the essence. The transformation is happening in the soul, the essence. And at the lowest level, it is that state of ego which is our unrefined animal nature, So this is our lowest dimension of existence, right? Our lowest dimension of existence. The animal within us. So our thoughts will be of a certain quality, mainly related to the 6 enemies, that is Lobha, Kama, Krodha, Moha, Matsya and Mada, right? So our thoughts will be full of these 6 enemies. Our emotions will be full of aggressiveness, agra, right? Even if we love somebody, there will be agra, aggressiveness. And our sensitivity will be of the lowest level, where we are always seeking excitement, always seeking something new, something exciting in life, right? So our main purpose of living at this level, this lowest level, the main aim for living is to get more excitement, right? I want to go tomorrow for a party, I want to go for a new dinner or new movie or a show, or I want to meet new people, I may want a new girlfriend, right? So the commanding ego, the dominating ego, is pushing us into more and more lower levels of excitement, lower levels of identification, where we are more immersed in the sleep of life. We are dominated by our lower psychic nature, that is negative emotions, reactions, and there will be a tendency for inciting to violence, right? So all our animal cells are here in the solar plexus, the animal cells, and we call it as the Manipur chakra, right? So now see how this works, and it is something which we must observe within ourselves, is that I don't like this. Now, if I don't like this and I pause there, then it is okay. But I don't like this and it connects to the Manipur chakra, right? The consciousness connects to the Manipur chakra. I identify with the Manipur chakra. Then that incites me to violence. That will incite me to aggressiveness, right? How can you do this to me? And all that will come out of there. So the animal cells are lying there, and those animal cells get their pound of flesh over there. So I am dominated by it. Now you will see this many times, that I'm upset with him, right? And I'm talking to him, but suddenly there's a push from inside to a more violent level of thinking, to a more aggressive level of thinking. Huh? Now, if you don't change, then next time you will see my different form, or something like that, I'll say to him. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? So, this push is coming from the Manipur chakra, right? And this is the where it is trying, the ego is trying to dominate the self completely, by pushing the self into violence, into lower forms of thinking. So here the essence is totally asleep. Its attention and will have totally been taken over by the machine, right? It does not own it. We live in a purely mechanical stimulus kind of response thing, right? Purely mechanical thing, right? And there is no will of the soul to wake up from this state. Now, the basic attitude over here, right? Because it is the dominating ego, and the ego is dominating the self into lower and lower states, the side effect is I want to dominate and control others, right? So a person who's always dominating and controlling others is at this level over here, of the lowest level of the ego, because that is the characteristic of this state. When I want to dominate others, control other people, right? I do not see other people as subjects. I see other people as objects, right? As if it is some, what you call, cunning game in which I'm controlling all the pieces of chess or something of that sort, right? So in this state, the emotional center has no juice inside, no rus inside, where it can feel what the other person is going through. Another characteristic of this state is that my words, actions, deeds, they hurt others. They hurt others. Yeah? So Tavadia ji is very, what do you call, one of the statements which he loved a lot, one line was that when before the tongue can speak in the presence of the master, it must have lost the power to wound. And even if I want to hurt somebody, I cannot hurt somebody, right? Only then can the tongue speak. So here, I'm always hurting others by what I say all the time. And there's a kind of, what do you call, enjoyment in hurting others, uh, and also in, what do you call, uh, what do you call, using other people, where we use other people. Recently, I think about 1 month ago, I saw a Russian advertisement, which you will not believe if you hear about the advertisement. I don't know. I shared it with some people on WhatsApp. So in the old days, the kings and all used to go for hunting for animals, right? So there was a Russian advertisement. Would you go? Would you like to go hunting for people? For right. So now these Russian, what do you call? They have tours. That is where they have yacht, a yacht. That yacht is equipped totally, and they allow you to go hunting for Somalian pirates and Somalian, what do you call, other pirates of that area. And the yacht is fully equipped with all guns and all that. And you pay a very high price to go shooting people, right? So this advertisement I had seen some time ago. So this is the lowest level of self we are talking about, the lowest. So I may not shoot a person, but at this level, in my thought, I may okay, something should happen to him. So again, it is, and I'm at the same level. Can you understand the same level? So all our actions, words will be filled with aggression, anger, arrogance, right? Lust, for more and more excitement in life. If somebody is better than us, then envy and jealousy, egoistic desires, and there'll be a bitterness if our desires are not fulfilled. And we can do anything to fulfill our desires, right from lying to anything we can do to fulfill our desires. In this state, what Gurdjieff calls as the false personality, we are total in control of the false personality. There is no sense of compassion, no sense of morality, right? And we live at the level of animal instincts and desires. So like I said, we take pleasure in giving pain to others. In giving pain to others, we take a certain kind of pleasure comes from that. Our appetites, our desires are totally uncontrolled, cannot be fulfilled in any way. One desire leads to another desire. We are always restless in this state. The monkey is always chattering. There's a loss of energy in the monkey chattering, right? And at certain, it can lead us to recklessness, to what do you call, going for those very, very dangerous kind of sports, right? Very strong sexual desires, and living in mechanical habits and giving into temptations all the time. Now, the beauty in this state, this lowest state of man, is that the person who is in this state, his ego has convinced him that this is the best state to be in. It's like he thinks that this is exactly the way life should be. When we look at old, what do you call, imagery, many times when you go to temples and you study temples and you see imagery, this this lowest level of the ego has different animals depicting this lower level of ego. And this ego has to be trained and controlled. Only then can we rise higher. So, many times it is shown as a wild horse which goes anywhere and no rider can sit on that horse. He is thrown off that horse. These people are never repentant. They never, what do you call, they don't have, nothing pricks them inside. એને દંગતું નથી કંઈ પણ. Right? If I hurt him, it doesn't prick me inside at all. There's no conscience inside to get pricked inside. And that is an absence of conscience, absence of, you see, a person જેને દંખે નહીં, he cannot walk on the spiritual path. He's an irreparable machine. Life has to, if he does something wrong, it must prick him inside. It must hurt him inside, right? So they are unrepentant people, right? So that is the lowest level of ego. We will call it the dominating ego, right? Or we will also call it the commanding ego, which commands us to do lower acts. It dominates us to do lower acts. The second level after that will be the self-blaming ego. Now, instead of blaming others, I am blaming myself, right? Now, this is a big turn I have taken. Now, this is the first step towards rising in consciousness I am taking, right? So, it is not others' fault, it is always my fault, right? Not he has made me angry, but I have a right not to be angry, right? So this is the self-blaming ego. You can call it the self-accusing ego. It is also the contemplative ego. It thinks before it acts. It thinks before it acts. In another way, when we walk on the spiritual path, we have to create a new ego. And this new ego decides everything for us. The old ego of life cannot work over here. So we create a new ego, and that ego then decides, I will get up in the morning at this time, I will follow this path, I will read this book, I will practice this, I will pause over here. So it is a new spiritual ego, right? And this is where we create that new spiritual ego, the self-blaming ego. This is also the beginning of tapa, where we struggle, because the lower is going to keep pulling us down, and we have to struggle with that lower to rise higher, right? It is the beginning of refining, the beginning of purity, right? So here something awakens within us, and that is called as conscience, vivek. Right? It discriminates between the lower world and where we want to go. There is a distinction made, inner distinction, an inner division, that we want to leave this world, be free of this lower world and move higher. And every time we fall into mechanicalness, every time we go into a reaction, right, that ego will blame us. Where did you go, right? What did you do? It will ask us. So now this is the beginning of work upon self, or what Gurdjieff calls as sadhana, work upon self. So this level begins in retrospect. It begins in retrospect. That is, I get angry on him, and then it pinches me inside, and I start repenting. I start repenting inside. So this level begins, I cannot pause when I'm getting angry upon him, right? But after I get angry on him, the incident is over, right? I pause, and this is the beginning of that state. And with that repentance, there is an inner kind of thing that whatever he has done to me, I want to forgive it. I want to rise above it. So this is also the beginning of forgiveness over here. Now it is in this state, the second level of the ego, where we look for a teaching, right? Atha yoga anushasanam. From this moment, I will follow the teaching of yoga. From this moment in my life, I will follow the teaching of yoga. And we start following that teaching. So, in every incident in life, we try to bring in that teaching, right? So, he says something to me, now I am getting angry upon him, right? But I don't follow my anger. I try to bring that teaching in this situation when somebody has insulted me, somebody has brought me down, right? What does the teaching say? So I put my personal desire on the side and I follow what the teaching says. Am I coming clear in this, right? So from this moment, I promise to follow the teachings of yoga. And the teachings of yoga tell me you cannot, what do you call, react, get angry with him, otherwise you'll go back and fall to the lower level. Can you get what I'm saying? So instead of my personal desire, my personal will, my personal, what I want to give it back to him, right? Instead of following that, I bring in the teaching over here and I start following the teaching. So in Gurdjieff, there's a long period where we don't do anything ourselves. We do what the work says in every situation of life. So instead of us deciding anything, the work is a whole framework of ideas, and that decides what we do in every situation of life. Tawadiyaji uses the word redemption, and of course his definition of redemption is very deep, but in redemption is that I don't, what do you call, fall into guilt that I have got angry on him. I fall into a lower level. I don't, what do you call, fall into guilt. I don't fall into self-pity, but I use the heat to rise higher, redemption. I redeem myself. Right? So it is a kind of repentance over here. Now, as we practice putting the, what do you call, the ideas of yoga into action, we get deeper and deeper understanding. So this is now the phase where we are looking inside and we are getting knowledge from inside and understanding from inside, and this is self-knowledge. Here we make a study of the work, what are negative emotions, how they pull us into the lower level, what is false personality, what is a reaction, what is mechanicalness in life, right? So apart from just putting the work there, we understand the theoretical aspect of the work. What are habits? What are attitudes? What is the beginning of self-observation, taking attention inside and observing our own thoughts and reactions. So in this level, there is a surrender to the work, to the ideas of yoga. There is a surrender to the ideas of yoga. Now the most beautiful thing which happens in this state, this second level, is the beginning of vivek, the beginning of conscience, right? So yeah, at times something within us tells us not to go there, to go higher here. If we do this, we will fall down. And that inner, the voice which is telling us, that is the beginning of conscience, vivek. It comes from the heart, it comes from the emotional center. But here we are acting according to the ideas of yoga. We are not yet following our vivek as yet. That vivek has not opened up completely that we can follow it. But we are following the ideas of yoga. But every time the vivek says something, the conscience says something, we have a beautiful feeling inside, as if some higher force has given us a piece of advice or something. There's a whole process of struggle over here because the lower will keep on pulling us down. There'll be so many, what do you call, small battles where the lower will win, right? And again, we will rise higher, right? Now, every time we win a battle against the lower, there will be a little increase in our inner light of Vivek. There will be a little drop by drop, the Vivek will start flowering. The what do you call, the inner power of discrimination will start flowering. And as we grow higher, then the ego, instead of it is surrendered to the work now, to the ideas of yoga, it will slowly, over a period of, as we rise higher, surrender to the inner voice, to the inner conscience, Vivek. In the Mahabharata, we call this, this beginning part of this inner voice, as Sanjay. Sanjay, right? Sanjay means balanced victory. Balanced victory, right? So Sanjay, he, what do you call, he takes his pay from the king, the blind king Dhritarashtra. He's a servant of Dhritarashtra. He's his charioteer, right? But he never escapes from telling Dhritarashtra the truth. He always tells Dhritarashtra the truth, right? That Krishna came for Sandhi. Why didn't you this thing? But it is your fault. Don't blame now anyone else. He keeps on. So this inner voice always tells us the truth, right? Always tells us the truth. Here Tavariyaji puts in a very beautiful thing, that once this inner voice starts prompting us, telling us, right? And if we do not follow it once, right, then it will stop and it will come again after 2,500 years, he says, right? So we have to, when this inner voice starts opening, we have to, like, you have a new flower coming in your garden, you protect it from the rain, you protect it from the sunshine, too much wind, and so when this inner voice starts opening up, we have to protect that inner voice and listen to its promptings. So that voice will tell us, you just hurt him, right? It will tell us that you hurt him, right? You acted out of ego, you acted out of vanity, you acted out of pride, it will tell us, right? It will tell us that you are lying, you are not authentic over here. And it will keep reminding us of how to go higher, how to go higher. And many times our old habits will pull us back down and we will try to break free, and this inner struggle will go on. This inner struggle is called as tapa. Tapa swadhyay ishwar pranidhan, right? Tapa. In Gurdjieff language, we have progressed from the jail of 96 laws to 48 laws. 48 laws, right? We have progressed from the jail of... And this is where we start our self-observation, right? Actually, in the lower state, we cannot observe because everything is, we are so hypnotized by the lower, there is no observation, right? So here the capacity to self-observation also comes in this second state, the blaming ego. We develop sympathy and empathy for other people in this state. So it is like this in this state, that he insults me, I get angry, and at that time I remember I have also insulted her 5 days ago, right? So his insulting me is cancelled by my remembering that I insulted here. And this is empathy. This is inner empathy. There is an inner cancelling of accounts. The inner cancelling of accounts over here. So I see that I am not different from him. I am the same mechanical person. I am the same reactive person which he is, right? So we start seeing our thoughts and feeling as objects, as objects. They are no longer my thoughts or feelings, they are thoughts and feelings, and they are trying to take me under their influence. So this is we experience a kind of awakening from the lower state over here, as if we have woken up to something different in life, to a higher reality in life. But we must remember that our animal nature will keep on attacking us and trying to bring us down. In this state, there is a deep inner pain which comes within us. And that deep inner pain is that how could I have lived so many thousands of years in that animal state, right? Why didn't I wake up early? And that inner pain comes in. It's a kind of divine discontent which comes in. And we feel pain that for so many years we have caused suffering to other people. We have caused suffering to other people. That also, right? And so it is like I said, it is the beginning of forgiveness. Now, every state also has a negative part. And when we awaken and attention goes in, right? And we see that it is not he making me angry. I was already angry before he made me angry. It was just hidden and he just allowed it to come out, right? When we understand this, a new ego develops within us. New abhiman develops within us. He is still living in mechanicalness. I have woken up from mechanicalness. Can you see? This new superiority comes in. And that is the drawback of this state which we must be aware of and look at. Now, as we practice self-observation, we will see ourselves not as one person, what Gurdjieff says, as many eyes. We will see and we will work with many eyes. And within those many eyes, there are many eyes who don't want to listen to us, who are not interested in progressing higher. They want to keep pulling us down. Gurdjieff calls them as life eyes. And they are in a majority. They are in a majority. So the first level is what you call the dominating self, right? The second level is the self-blaming self. The third is the inspired self. Now we go to the third level, the inspired self. Prerit thayalo. Now we start listening to our conscience. We are acting exactly according to what yoga says, the anushasana of yoga, the discipline of yoga. But now a personal touch comes in it, that these are the general tenets of yoga, but now I'm listening to my inner voice also, right? We are listening to our inner conscience also. But we have not yet surrendered to the conscience. There is no Ishwar Pranidhan has not happened. We are listening to it, but we have not yet totally surrendered to it. So all our actions are now inspired by our conscience, by our vivek, right? We get the inspiration from vivek. Till now we got the inspiration from the work, from the what you call the ideas of yoga. Now we are getting from an inner voice is inspiring us to move ahead, to go ahead. This is the stage where we become creative. We became creative. In the second stage, we follow the fixed exercises which the Guru has given. Now we start making our own exercises. And we see in different situations, we'll make our own exercises. So supposing you're standing in the line, right? So first that voice will tell you, don't complain, remain in patience, right? So it is not a what you call exercise which the Guru has given, but you will make that standing in line as an exercise for higher consciousness. So creativity comes in this stage. Right? So you may be cooking your meal, but you will bring a creativity in cooking in such a way that you also bring in higher consciousness. Or you're laying the table for dinner, you will lay it in such a way that creativity will come in, will bring you to higher consciousness. So you keep making new exercises in this for calming the mind and rising higher in consciousness, bringing in presence. Because we have now gone through a long period of self-observation, we now know something about our soul, what we have to let go of and what we have to do abhyas about to rise up. What qualities we need and which qualities we have to let go of, characteristics we have to let go of. Here suddenly we find the difference between our personal desires which come back from the lower this thing and the prompting of the Vivek which tells us that this is the desire of Vivek, the will of Vivek, and the will of the machine, that is the personal desires of the machine. And suddenly we'll start seeing the difference between there, and we will learn to put our personal desires on the side over here. So instead of following the fixed work, the work is now spoken through Vivek, through the conscience. Now, whenever we follow the will of the conscience, like in Christianity, they say, let thy will be done. Not my will, thy will be done. So, whenever we follow thy will, that is the will of conscience, in following his will, the higher will, there is always joy. There is always joy. If my personal desire is satisfied, then the ego feels satisfied. There is no joy. The ego feels content and satisfied. I have achieved something, right? But in following a higher desire, a higher will, there is always joy. And we enter that period of joy where the conscience is telling us what to do and we are following the conscience. As we practice this, over a period of time, giving up our personal will become spontaneous, sahaj. There will be no struggle. Initially, when we wanted to give up our personal will, personal desires, there was a struggle, there was suffering, and that suffering we turned into voluntary suffering. Now there is no suffering. We just very easily give up our personal desires and follow the desire of inner Vivek, the conscience. And instead of what you call being that voluntary suffering of sacrificing the desire, our personal desires, there will be a joy of sacrifice because we are following the will of conscience. In this state, we will see a total transformation in our ambitions for life. Suddenly, everything will change, right? Then, so many material ambitions will just be enough for our comfort and for our living for life. We don't want to achieve more in the material world to, so that our ego becomes this thing that I have earned so much or I have so much or etc. So, till now in life we sought comfort, power, possessions, material possessions. Suddenly our aims change. Now we are looking for compassion, we are looking for sharing with people, we are looking for a higher form of morality, not just right and wrong, but to rise in consciousness and fall in consciousness. Because we are full of joy, there is gratitude. And instead of practicing humility, we become humble on its own. The outcome of this is humility. What is humility in Gujarati? Humility. Huh? Namrata. 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 Right? And this is the beginning of external considering for others. Till now we only consider ourselves, our I, what I want, my this, my that. Now there is the beginning of external considering in this state. We continue practicing repentance, what Mr. Tavaria says, redemption, right? Uh, and now there is joy and gratitude in redemption, in the sense that we realize that so many things have been given to us free in life. I can use my five senses, it is given free. I breathe the air, it is free. So suddenly there is that overpowering gratitude for nature, that all this you have given to me free of charge. The more we are in gratitude, the more we repent and what we call do prayaschit to rise higher, redemption, the more our conscience will start flowering, the more the vivek, it is as if we are giving it fertilizer. We are giving it fertilizer, it is flowering. We will see we become very less mechanical, right? Uh, we are not getting identified so easily, and now we can see that the essence is separating from the machine. Till now the machine had totally controlled the essence. Now the soul and the machine, the body brain system, are separating in this state. That is, the soul is waking up, it is now going to a higher state of consciousness. So from 48 we have now come to 24 laws. In this 24 laws, and 24 laws is the emotional center. A lot of things in the emotional center start awakening in this state. In this state, for the first time, we have real choice, real free will, and the ability what to do. As Gurdjieff says, man cannot do. He just everything happens to him. Now for the first time we do. Everything that happens in life is because of three forces, and man is third force blind. He doesn't see the higher force, the third force. And in this state now slowly the eye to the third force starts opening up in this state. It is something which we feel in our heart, because this state is of the emotional state. We feel it in our heart. Now the negative part of this state is that we may be attracted to black magic, right? Using black magic or occult powers for, controlling people or whatever, then we'll get stuck in this state. We won't be able to rise higher, right? The fourth state is the receptive self, the Grahanshil self, the receptive self. From here we progress from self-observation to self-remembering. Three things come together in self-remembering: my attention, my aim, my lakshya, immediate lakshya, so we will call it as my intention, and my presence, maru hoa padu mari hajri. Three things come together in self-remembering. And this is, now we've entered the present moment and we are now ready for self-remembering, moving higher in self-remembering. So we are able to use our attention, hold our attention, so we can enter the present moment in this state. Now in this state, because it is the receptive self, it is a very peaceful state. Now we are at peace with ourselves, we are at peace with others, and we are at peace with the environment also, right? And it's a very, very peaceful state where we are receptive to other people's thoughts, other people's feelings, what is happening around us, right? We see the TV and there's a reception of what is happening in the world around us. And the basic characteristic of this state is we remain contented, santosh. There is every impression which comes in, it gives a kind of inner pleasure, as if when we digest food and the food is so tasty, as if the impression is so tasty and we are digesting that impression, it gives us a kind of inner pleasure, that impression. Now the Vivek has become very powerful in this state, right? The conscience has become very powerful, and nearly all 24 hours we are following its instructions, In this state, we are suddenly free of conflict. Every event in life becomes complimentary. So if he insults me, also it is complimentary. If she disagrees with me, also it is complimentary. There is nothing contradictory left in life. Everything complements the higher truth, right, in this state. But there is an effort involved. It is not that it is sahaj, it is not that it is spontaneous. So if you see a tightrope walker, right? So he's always making an effort to come to the middle point of balance, right? And this middle point is changing all the time, right? This time extreme could be here, but when he's over here, the middle point could be over here. Can you understand? So there is no fixed middle point over here. So here we have to continuously make the effort to come back into the contented, into the balanced state, and life becomes like this. We are always making that effort to come back into that inner state of balance. Thank you. Now something is happening in this state. The old is dying and it is reintegrating into something new, right? So I may be going to office, I may be working. So I will see that all that I have been doing is suddenly dying. And I am going to office again, but it is not the same office. It has reintegrated into something totally new. It is as if every day I'm going to a new office. I'm just doing the same things which I was doing before. Nothing has changed, but again it is as if it has broken down and been rebuilt again. So in this state, all the memory disintegrates and it rebuilds again, kind of. Right? Now, try to understand that old memory was always full of self-love, was always full of self-love. Supposing yesterday I had an accident and I'm talking to him about the accident. I will add something here, I will subtract something here in such a way that I will tell him that, oh, what a way I came out of this accident. Can you understand? So, the memory of the accident has gone in with corrupted sectors. Bad sectors, what do you call it? Bad sectors. It has gone in with bad sectors. It is a corrupted memory. And all our memory till now is corrupted memory. That old memory will disintegrate, right? And it will come back to an authentic memory. The disintegration is very painful because self-love disintegrates in that. There is a disintegration of self-love. There is a breaking down of self-love in this. Oh, sorry. So there's what we call in Gujarati as vigatan and sangatan, right? There's a breaking down and again rebuilding process. So this, we feel a kind of death in this and a kind of rebirth in this, right? And this is a process which we go through, and many sadhaks at this stage, students at this stage may feel it a very painful process where the old is breaking down. The old is breaking down. So the old I, the feeling of I, the old feeling of I was based on memory, on sanskars. It dies and there's now a new feeling of I related to the present moment. Related to the present moment. That is the individual mind. My personal mind is breaking down and slowly the mind of God or universal mind or the cosmic mind is taking its place over here. Right? So from 24 we have come to 12 laws. 12 laws is now we are at the level of the sun. We are at the power of the sun over here, right? Power of the sun over here. So very, very high state of consciousness where we are in this thing. In this state, there will be total surrender to the, what do you call, inner Vivek. And that Vivek will become a kind of light where it will throw light on every event which comes in front of us, or everything that comes, it will throw light upon it and show us the way over there. That is, now there is no personal self, it is that self which we are following. The fifth level will be the pleased self, the one who is pleased inside. He's from contentment, now we rise a little higher. In the fourth we were contented, but now there is a inner pleasing, as if every event in life is giving me pleasure. Every event in life is giving me pleasure. So whatever comes, we don't want to decide whatever comes. But whatever event life brings to me, we know it is the game of life, and it brings pleasure in viewing that event, in working with that event, right? Many years ago, I had gone, I don't know if you've heard of U.G. Krishnamurti, right? Not J. Krishnamurti, U.G. Krishnamurti. And we went to meet him in, I met him only once in my life. And we went to meet him at a place called Ketanav, which is, it was the three brothers, Devanand, Vijayanand and Chetananand's studio, where all films would come for editing and all that. And on the top of the studio there was a flat, and he was living in that flat. So we met him, sat with him for a couple of hours, 3-4 hours we sat with him and talking. And in that, Vijayanand came, and I had met him and I knew him from the old days in Osho. We had been together in the camps. And so after he went into his bedroom, I was just talking with him. And so he had left Osho and he was following UG, right? And I was just talking with him. So he says he takes, he takes interest in everything we do. If a film has come for editing, he will sit there and he will work with the editor, what to do, what not to do. So in every, right from the financial aspect to everything, he will this thing. So in this, whatever event of life comes in front of you, you take pleasure out of it. You become a makhan chor in this. You take pleasure out of it. You enjoy every event in life. In the previous thing, we had to come to the middle. We were practicing on the tightrope. So there was that effort in coming to the middle. Here in this state, you're grounded in the middle. There's no effort to come back to the middle. You're grounded in the middle, this thing over in this state. It is as if every moment is a blessing in this state. As if every moment is bringing a blessing. In this state, the heart opens up completely, and some of the higher qualities of the heart, they flower, they start expressing within ourselves. That is, we start sensing the very subtle things in life, how the chakras are working, how the nadis are working, what is the movement of prana, right? What is the subtle body? All that suddenly comes into our sensitivity, as if we can sense all that. The heart brings 6 kinds of different subtleties: compassion, karuna, love, right? Gratitude, one-pointedness, ekagrata, right? Patience, dheeraj shakti, dharana shakti, and joy. These are the 6 qualities of the heart which flower in this state, they come out in this state. But that joy comes with a little bit of duality. That joy comes with a little bit of duality. And that duality is that you want to still rise to the higher state. There is joy, but there is a pleasure, there is joy, but there is that little discontent that I still want to go to a higher state. I don't want to pause over here, and that is what pushes us to go higher. Otherwise, we can pause over here, right? So, like a common man has anxiety, anxiety, we feel an anxiety that we are not going higher, right? But that does not disturb our peace and joy, but it is there as a small thing, it is there. Life becomes a total flow in this state. There is no control at all. Love manifests automatically. I won't say automatically, spontaneously. Love manifests in this state. And because the heart is opened up, the heart now sees the truth in everything, right? It sees that this is the truth from the fact we have moved to the truth, and behind the truth are the laws through which truth works, right? And it starts sensing the truth, feeling the truth. It does not as yet, it can sense the laws, but it is not yet able to see the laws completely. You feel a continual gratitude, thankfulness, and the further path to go up is very open and very clear. There is no what you call now darkness anywhere in that path. This is where the outer guru will say goodbye to the disciple. He goes away because now the disciple has a very clear path in front of him. There is no desire left in this state. The only desire is to finally merge into that supreme truth or God and to flow into that. That is the only desire that. And the obstacle in this state, now we are under 6 laws, right? Which is very, very high. The obstacle in this state is joy, because there's so much of joy in this state that one does not want to leave the joy and merge into the truth. To merge into the truth, you have to leave joy and happiness and everything, right? We have Narsi Mehta, Mane Vraj Valu Re Vaikunt Ne Yau, right? He doesn't want to leave that state and merge into that final state, right? And that joy brings a kind of spiritual intoxication. Like you're drunk with spiritual happiness, you're drunk with spiritual intoxication, right? And so you don't want to leave it. So that is why in Yoga Sutra, Patanjali goes beyond Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. He says there is a higher state of Sanyam. There's a higher state of Sanyam. And here you have to bring in that Sanyam, right? That I don't get identified, remain in the identification of joy and happiness. I have to bring in that state. And the way to do this is that there is pleasure inside. This is the pleased state. I am pleased inside. And the way to do this is to share that pleasure with others. So in that state, the next level is the 6th level, where 3 laws, the pleasing self. Now, he is pleased himself in the 5th state, but in the 6th state, he wants to please others. Please others not into what do you call this thing, but to,
People pleasing.
Not that pleasing, but to make them rise in consciousness, right? So, he has experienced an inner softness, now he wants to share an outer softness. He has experienced an inner truth, he wants to share that outer truth to everyone. So in this now there's nothing of himself left, now he's totally surrendered to the higher and sharing it with others in this. And the beauty of this state is that in such a soft state. He's just sharing his softness, his just sharing his good wishes with everyone, and he feels in this sharing he feels as if he's achieved that totality, completeness in that sharing. And in that sharing, there is no expectation of anything in return. It is just overflowing. It is just a way of the river is in flood and he just has to share. There is no, it is a spontaneous sharing. And he feels that the more he shares, the more blessings he receives. It's automatic, it's like a feedback process. And here comes to him that now this truth which he has experienced, he wants to study the same truth from different angles, from different pathways, from different dimensions, express it in different ways. All that comes in this sixth state over here, right? So he sees the divine laws and now he wants to express the divine laws in different ways and in different actions. In this, there is no male left, there is no female left. The male drops and the female drops. There is just the merging of male energies and female energies in this state. Each moment he feels that merging of male energies and female energies. Because he can see the laws of life, he can see the laws behind truth. His thinking has changed completely. It is a very high form of thinking. There is a knowing, seeing, experiencing, application of the laws and understanding of the laws of truth in this state. In this state, the only what you call setback is if he wants to become a teacher to others, right? And if he gets stuck in being a teacher to others, then that is the setback in this state, right? Which he has to keep dropping that idea of becoming a teacher. You can share the teaching without becoming a teacher of the teaching, right? And then the final state, what we call, we go out of this and we merge into Turiya, the fourth state of consciousness, right? Pure self, divine self. There is no sense of separateness over here, right? I and the universe are one, right? Aham Brahmasmi, and that is the state of no separating. So I thought I'll just, in these, what do you call, we talked about this, these 7 levels. I thought I'll just share with you so some notes about these 7 levels. We still have a lot of time today. So, right. So it gives a kind of map of where we are going.
Want to take next to corrective exercises?
Huh? Today? Yeah, I can take them.
I mean, ask others if they what they want.
If any questions, we can take questions, or we want to take the correct. We take one. We take one. So page. So we come back down. We did unhappiness. Yeah?
We did.
We did unhappiness. Do you envy and jealousy? We did that. We did at home. No?
We did at home. We didn't do it here.
Yeah. Hatred. Then I'll take hatred.
And if anybody wants jealousy or anything, you want to?
Which one do you?
Yeah, jealousy one, yeah.
You want to do jealousy? Yeah. Okay. Do you suffer from envy or jealousy? Does a thought such as the following one, if not to the same intensity, but to a lesser intensity cross your mind. Why should he have power and wealth? Why should he have power and wealth? And I be left to plod along with the man in the street, right? Why must I accept this meaningless living? I will steal or do worse, for I must get me a fortune. Right? I must get material possessions. Otherwise, somebody has and I am left on the street, right, roaming around without any material possessions. So I will do anything for getting material possessions. I will steal. So this is a thought which he is putting in front of us. When reading a quotation or creating a suitable one to suit yourself, please remember that quotations could be of two types, right? Displaying noble thoughts, as in the first two cases, or displaying mean thoughts. Here he has displayed a mean thoughts. In unhappiness and the first one, fear of death, he expressed a noble thought, right? And here he's taken a mean thought that why should I move around in the street? I will steal and get anything I want to get, right? There are two ways of handling the emotional center. When the emotional center is depressed, as in the first two cases, and when the emotional center is highly aroused to high negative intensity, right? Fear of death is, it is depressed. Unhappiness, it is depressed. But I will steal or do anything to gain money or material possessions, it is aroused to high negative intensity, high negative intensity. So we want to bring it down from the high negative intensity, right? Where there are depressed, we want to take it to a high positive intensity, right? So in the first two cases, we read more and more loudly, then softly, more softly. In this case, we must read without emotion. Read without emotion, right? As if we are ordering the emotional center from a high negative intensity to come down, right? And we have to read without any emotion, like you order somebody in the army. You order somebody in the army, attention. So, like that is the way we have to speak to the emotional center. So in this case, we read without emotion, coldly, seriously, and hardly audibly. So when we start it, we can hardly hear it. Huh? That way we must start 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. The rhythm is very important. The rhythm is very important. This technique of raising low negative intensities or reducing high negative intensities must be properly understood. Right? So it is not just about jealousy, right? High negative intensities we face in so many situations, right? If he has cheated me, then there may be a high negative intensity. Forget him cheating me, but if I come back home from the shop and I feel the shopkeeper has what you call cheated me, I will also feel a high negative intensity, right? So to bring that down, bring that down. So in so many situations in life, we feel a high negative intensity. Suppose you have a new car and somebody hits your car, there will be immediately be a high negative intensity. So in all those situations, this is going to work, bring back the high negative intensity. In this present case, read as you would read a textbook, seriously and coldly. One of the things I have seen in life is that a person who, you see, when people get drunk, completely drunk, either they rise into high negative intensity, they create problems for everybody, start shouting and screaming and saying all, or they sit in one corner and they are, what do you call, happy and contented, right? So if they're happy and contented, we don't have to do anything, right? But people with high negative intensities, right? Uh, so how do you handle them in that situation? So you have to order them as if you're in America. Sit down over here, right? Similarly, we have to tell our emotional center, you come down from a high negative intensity into a low negative intensity. Now, look into the mirror. We are already in front of the mirror. We have exchanged ourselves in the mirror. Visualize a person you respect. So, supposing I visualize Tawariya Sahib. So, the person in the mirror is looking at me and he's also looking at Mr. Tawariya's photo or whatever nearby. And say, in your presence, Tari Hajri in your presence, right? And ask mentally. Ask mentally. Now we have to start, he said very inaudible, just about audible, right? So ask mentally. Is there something for nothing? So we'll start with, is there something for nothing? We're telling our emotional center, is there some, and no emotion, coldly, is there something for nothing? 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 Right? And we feel that, right? That even though he has something, I don't have it, right? But he has it because he has paid for it, he has worked for it. I don't have it because I have not paid for it, I have not worked for it. So I'm saying, is there something for nothing? Am I going to get everything in life free of charge? Right? Close your eyes and relax for 2 minutes. Now, he has mentioned here once, but you can do it 2-3 times also, right? Close your eyes and just do 3-step rhythmic breathing without the music. Without the music. When you open your eyes, see that you're seeing a new person. That person in the mirror is saying, I now see a new person. It's jealousy, right? Jealousy. Right. Take one more. We take hatred. Hatred. Do you suffer from hatred? Dvesh, hatred. Does a thought such as the following, if not to the same intensity, but to a lesser intensity, cross your mind? If I catch him once upon the hip, I will feed fat the ancient grudge I bear him. Right? એટલે એનો જો હિપ એટલે what do you call the hip in Gujarati?
Thapu.
થાપુ, રાઈટ? એનો જો હું થાપુ પકડી લઉં, રાઈટ, તો my old grudge against him, my જે what do you call knot I have against him, I will feed that knot with his hip, right? I will feed that knot with his hip. Here is shown a second method for handling aroused emotions, like in case 3 above. In this case, as in 3 above, read the following thought aloud and with the same intensity. એટલે this thought which I get, if I catch him, I will give it back to him. I will show him. હું એને બતાવી દઈશ, right? Who I am, right? So that thought when it comes, it is also of high negative intensity. It is also high negative intensity. Hate. I hate this person, like, right? That way. Read the following thought aloud and with the same aroused intensity, the same coldly, the same what we did in the last this thing. while yet I have time to make while yet I have time to make restitution. Restitution to pay back. To pay back. For all the wrongs I have done. I still in this life have time to ask for forgiveness for all the wrongs that I have done, all the people I have hurt. I still have time. I will undo them and ask forgiveness from God. I will ask for forgiveness from God. Ask yourself, will it not be better if I ask forgiveness from Him? That person whom I want to give it back to, right? Will it not be better if I ask forgiveness from Him? Will it not be better if I ask forgiveness from Him? Will it not be better if I ask forgiveness from Him? Will it not be better if I ask forgiveness? Right? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Right? Repeat this aloud, then repeat it softly, very softly. Close your eyes, relax for 2 minutes, do the 3-step rhythmic breathing, and look on yourself as a different person, a new person. Right? So, we can do this, it's very easy. Bolo. Anything else? What do you want to do tomorrow? Impression food? Take food of impression. Huh? Food of impressions. Yeah. Right. I thought this would take the full time, but I went through it very fast, it looks like.
It was very interesting. Very interesting.
Bolo. No one? Any questions? Anyone else? Today I went to have a bath, I was shampooing my hair. So I remembered one incident. So Bapu used to stay at Sihor Nagar Sheth's place. Chandubai was very well respected in Sihor, right? And big name. So he must have gone in the bathroom to have a bath. And he did not know, he thought it was a bottle of shampoo. It was a bottle of phenyl. So he used phenyl to wash his hair. Right? So I was remembering that in the bathroom today. Then he wouldn't leave Chandubai. Anybody, wherever he goes, wherever Chandubai, anybody meets, Chandubai purposely put that bottle of phenyl in the bathroom.
So I just wanted to ask you one thing, that is there something for nothing, right? So now what happens every time, okay, the mirror exercise I do, but now during daytime, the thought arises and my inner self just says the same thing, is there something for nothing? And it drops, right? But so even though I don't do it in mirror, just as soon as the thought of jealousy or possessiveness happens, right away that thought comes, is there something for nothing? So that is also okay, right?
Yeah, it is a correction. Immediate correction. It is an immediate correction. And you can also use this in places where somebody has cheated us. Because I feel somebody has cheated me. I cannot see the causes. Causes are in another dimension of time and space. Now, if he has got something, has he got something for nothing? Can,
Yeah, so true.
can you understand?
Yeah,
Has he got, he must have done something for it,
Yeah,
paid
so
something
true.
for it. Otherwise, he wouldn't get it. Ne? And you can use this in many other places also. And it will bring immediate correction. Immediate correction.
Thank you.
એમને ઓલું આપશે ને.
Yeah. So in the morning, we get like lucid dreams. And I think
You get lucid dreams?
I know, I remember that
Very
dreams.
good. Very
So,
good.
but I wanted to go a little deeper into that.
Right.
Let's say we hear some sound, you know, let's say Omkar, right? But that Omkar is not the one we regularly
Right.
do in the morning.
Right.
It is very different kind.
Right.
It is like a four part. You hear like three or let's say sometimes. But that were very pleasant, very pleasant.
Yeah.
I cannot even, we cannot express it. Right? Now, let's say I wanted to hear it again. What I should do? It vanishes. It 3 times, 4 times it comes. It's very pleasant. I can little bit describe it, but I'm not sure I will describe it the way. It is like a high pitch resonance, like you start with a roo, ring, ring, and the last three words, it's very, but that resonance is little longer, and then it repeats like a 3 times, and then it vanishes. Even while it was, I was hearing, even it, I started speaking that things, right? Because it was so pleasant and joyful, that sound. But then it vanished.
You'll have to wait. You'll have to
So,
wait. But
yeah.
is it because you're lucid in the dream, is there sensitivity of the dream body?
Yeah.
Right? So practice rotating the dream body. Right? Practice rotating the dream body. Right? Practice anti-clockwise. Rotation of the dream body. So you're outside, you're watching your dream as if it's in a TV, and you have your own avatar in the dream, right? And that avatar is sleeping, make him rotate the dream body. So rotate that avatar, right, in the dream. And remember which dream you want to go to. Remember which dream you want to go to, you will go into that dream, right? Second thing is that when you hear the sounds, say, I want to see the sounds. And that Omkar will start making different patterns and all that. Right? So, say, I want to see the sounds. Right? So, suddenly you will understand the secrets of yantra and everything. How yantras are formed and all that. Right? So, practice it, see if it can work out. Right? But try to experience yourself as watching, and the person going through in the dream is the dream body, it is not Hemant.
Yeah.
It is the dream body. And practice talking to that dream body. Right? Practice talking to that dream body. We have 5 more minutes. Shall we practice the, because he said, it's just the association came. Shall we practice the sound of the Swadhisthana chakra? Right? So we'll breathe in 3 seconds only, how much we can, right? So we'll go 1, 2, 3. Anybody? તમારી પાસે ઓલો ટિકટોક છે તમારા મોબાઈલ? હા, મેટ્રોનોમ. હા. Right? So we'll breathe in 1, 2, 3. 3, right? Then we'll breathe out with the sound womb, right? And we will breathe out for 10. So we'll go womb.
It's not a bomb.
Huh?
It's not a bomb.
No. Actually. Woo, and you will make your lips round as if you're filling air into something. You're filling air into something, right? So it will go this way. 1, 2, 3. So it will go. This is 1 second. This is not 1 second. This is more than 1 second. This is more than 1 second. Taping बंद कर देना तो I can do it. I'll use mine.
Okay.
If you can switch off the taping.
Yeah.
There is more than 1 second. It is 1 second?
It says 60, so I assume. Children go to 1 second.
50 big time.
Same?
Yeah, same.
Okay, 3 seconds in. Huh? Harder layout. Right? Again. Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, breathe in. 2, 3. Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in 3. 1. Two, three, 4, 5. Breathe in. Okay, right? This is the sound of the Swadhisthana chakra, right? And just if you can practice this, it will bring a lot of enjoyment in life. Lot of enjoyment. It, what do you call, Swadhisthana chakra, as it becomes active, it brings about a state where we take more and more pleasure from the small things in life, right? So just this one thing. Not only that, it has a deep connection with the, what do you call, vagus nerve. Have you taken the talk on vagus nerve? So tomorrow I'll take vagus nerve. I'll take vagus nerve tomorrow. And this is it opens up the possibilities of the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It's very, very powerful, this sound is, right? So please do practice this sound. And we do it again tomorrow.
So in just basic chakra mantras, they are usually lam, vam, ram, but that is not how they are pronounced.
See, lam is pronounced in two. You see, it depends what you want to extract from the chakra.
Okay.
Each chakra has multiple qualities. Right? So, what do you want to extract? Right? So, Muladhara has to say the power of resistance to resist the lower and to rise into the higher. So, then the actual sound is not lam. It is like you say the English word long. Long.
So at the end, ma comes.
Ma. There's, on all the letters in the chakras, there's anuswar. There's anuswar.
So we say lam, but
No.
it's not lam.
Lam is not going to do anything. It's a waste of time.
Okay.
Right? But if you want to extract the quality of strength, strength, right? Then it has to be said in another way.
Oh, really?
Then it has to be said in another way, right? So the sounds have to be said in a special way, each of the sounds of the, and these are again not the sounds of the chakras. These are the sounds of the element in the chakras. The sounds of the chakras are the letters of the alphabet. Those are the sounds of the chakras. These are not sounds of the chakras at all. The chakras have been created by the vibration of the sounds of the letters of the alphabet. Okay? Each chakra manifests a certain, and it, what you call, decodes a certain element. And that is the sound of that element in the chakra. So what you call as lam is the sound of Prithvi Tattva. It is not sound of Mooladhara. But because Prithvi is concentrated in Mooladhara, we call it the sound. It is not the sound of Mooladhara.
And all these chakras are connected with different organs because they are connected with endocrine system, right?
Yeah, that is a very, what do you call, on the physical side they are connected with the endocrine system. On the higher side they are connected with something else.
Yeah.
Right? So, see, in all the Indian texts, which were the original texts on chakras, there was no mention of the physical properties. Okay, this disease, this, that, there was no mention anywhere. All this the Western authors have added. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? Right.
The purpose was not physical at that time.
So all this, the endocrine glands and all this is not in any of our Shastra. It is all added by the Western authors.
Yes, yes.
It is added by the Western authors. And they become more expert in chakras. Become a big business. Become a big business. Now online also they teach you chakras also. But if we really want to go deep into them, then we need a proper period of time. We can't do it in a few days or something.
We can try it next year.
Yeah. Because we did it in where? In Maryland, we were just able to do 2 chakras in 5 days. 5 days is not easy.
Do you have your lectures on YouTube? On
Yeah.
chakra? All of them?
There is like 3 lectures in 2 days. So, sorry, 2 chakras in 3 days.
But here's talked about 2 chakra only.
Yeah.
All of them are not done.
There's some place I have talked in some place, I think.
I think you have done it before somewhere.
Before somewhere, but this one was very deep into it. Very
Maryland.
in the Maryland. The 2 Mooladhara, Swadhisthana.
Okay. Right.
Sure. Good night. Thank you.